Jurassic World Rebirth. Will this help the franchise rise from the ashes like the Great Phoenix, or will it be just another boring refresh? Let's get into it. Okay, before we get into the full review, let me just make a quick disclaimer. Two things. One, there will be spoilers, so if you do care, go watch the movie first, then come back and check out my review. Two, there are different types of Jurassic franchise fans, so I'm just going to list to you the previous films in order of which I like those films. First up, The Lost World. That is absolutely my favorite Jurassic franchise film. Two would be the original Jurassic Park. It really doesn't get much better than that. Three, I would put Jurassic World. Even though it did kind of rehash a lot of the stuff from the first Jurassic Park, I think it was a cool film and it added some elements that I did enjoy, and it is my third favorite film of the franchise. Four, it may be controversial, but JP3. I was thoroughly entertained by that movie. I've watched it several times. It was a good film to me. Although it didn't have the same flair as the first two films, I did like the movie. At 5 and 6, we have Dominion and Fallen Kingdom, and that's really close if you ask me. Didn't really enjoy those films that much. Let me know your rankings down below. Everyone has a different ranking system. I just would like to see what people think are the best films of the franchise. But all right, let's get into the story of this film. A rich pharmaceutical corporation finds out they can synthesize a heart medication by getting DNA from the three biggest dinosaurs of land, air, and sea. They recruit Scarlett Johansson's character Zora because she's into some type of illegal clandestine activities and she needs money. Is she Black Widow? They also recruit an archaeologist who wants to get out and meet real dinosaurs and also needs money. Johansson's character recruits Mahershala Ali's character Duncan because he has a boat, he smuggles things kind of like Han Solo, and guess what? He needs money. They also recruit one of her other friends who comes on as a security officer. He's basically the protector or the gun guy, and I assume he also needs money. They all set off into another dinosaur island which specializes in research, which mixes the DNA of different dinosaurs, causing all kinds of genetic mutations. Nothing could go wrong there, right? They also have a family on vacation. A father, his two daughters, and one of his daughter's boyfriends are out sailing, and they get into a big mess, which causes them to meet up with Johansson, or Zora is her name in the films, her research team. This may all sound mediocre and straightforward, but that's because it is. And I don't think that's a bad thing in this case. It kind of works. Although I love the science and things that went into some of the films, we don't really need an overly explained exposition on why dinosaurs want to attack and eat people. We just don't. Both the researchers and the family wind up shipwrecked on the island in a beautiful scene. And we have on one side, the researchers trying to move the story forward with trying to find the biggest dinosaurs and getting their DNA. On the other side, we have the family just trying to survive. I think the contrast between the two plays very well. We kind of get a hunter and a prey perspective of everything that's going on. Kind of like that Jurassic Park video game back on PlayStation. I think it was the Lost World game, where you could play as the hunter, you could play as the prey, and then you get to play as different dinosaurs. I think that was an amazing game. If you're a gamer and you never played it, go check it out. But this gives us two storylines to follow. So even if you didn't like the perspective of one, you might enjoy the perspective of the other. And I enjoyed both. Switching between the research team and the family didn't leave a lot of room for dead space or for just dialogue that was just thrown out there just to keep things moving. They kind of both had their own plot lines that kept things flowing pretty well. I was very happy with the pacing of the film. The look of the film was phenomenal. Once again, it was very simple and straightforward, but very effective. We had these beautiful landscapes. We had beautiful ocean shots that were also terrifying when you added in the dinosaurs. This was just a good looking film. The scenery in 4K, I could just watch that at home on my TV all day. But when you added in the dinosaurs, and I'm one for practical effects. I'm not a big CGI guy, but I think everything meshed very well here, how they put it together. They had some mountainscapes, they had jungle, they had beachfront. They also had some ruins in there and some old dilapidated buildings. It was a pretty good variety. I do think they did a lot here with the less is more approach. It was a beautiful film visually. The choice of dinosaurs in this film wasn't completely vast, and of course there's some favorites that were going to be overlooked. But I can say I'm extremely happy with how they handled the T-Rex. All hail the T-Rex. The big man, the mascot of the franchise. I feel like he's been getting done dirty over the previous films. He either had to use other dinosaurs to help him fight, or he was just straight getting embarrassed here. I think this film was the first step to bringing him back to his former glory. I mean, the T-Rex scene to me was perfect. It was a great scene. He was terrifying again. He was a force to be reckoned with. He didn't get downplayed or didn't need help to be terrifying. And we got to see him do something a little different. So kudos to them for making the T-Rex respectable, man. We love that guy. Shout out to the T-Rex. From the trailer and first looking at the film, I wasn't too excited about the human characters. I thought we were just getting rehashes as a father on vacation with his family. We got some researchers going to another island, but Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and everyone on the cast managed to separate themselves from previous Jurassic Park human characters. I mean, there was no Owen Star-Lord to be seen, nothing like that. Even the character that played the scientist didn't really come off as an Alan Grant, but they did say he was a student of Alan Grant, and that you kind of did feel. Of course, there were some tropes present, especially in the villain character. It was kind of like you know what the corporation guy was going to get into, and you kind of knew what he was going to do at every step. He was pretty predictable, but outside of that, we got a few surprises, and some people stepped out of the box of what their archetypes may have done or been in what you expect from other films. Also, being that this is a brand new cast and you don't know who's going to continue on or if anyone is going to continue on, and Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali being the two majors, you didn't even know if anyone was really going to make it out the film or not. So it kind of upped the ante on the scare factor and what's going to happen, who's going to be the next victim of this dinosaur island. I'm not really sure because we don't know who's going to survive. We don't know. There's no staple in the franchise at this point. No one had to make it and no one had to die. So I think it was pretty good with the characterization and keeping you on the edge of your seat. Mahershala Ali's character, Duncan, didn't have that much dialogue as you would think for a 2-hour film and him being a leading man, but it worked out well because we didn't get any garbage or throwaway lines. Almost everything he ever said in this film was something important to the plot or moving the story along, and that kept it feeling fresh and didn't make it get stale or stagnant. We didn't have a bunch of useless conversations about things we didn't really care about. It was mostly just a little bit of backstory on everyone's lives and what was currently going on. The family, in contrast, they kind of just went through the jungle, but it was a relatability thing. I think everyone could kind of relate to the idea of being on a vacation with the family or something terrible happening or going through something traumatic with your family. A father trying to be a protector. There's a boyfriend there who really is down on himself. The characters were fleshed out pretty well, and I think I would like to see more of them, honestly. But okay, I know you guys are just thinking this is a dinosaur love fest, and I loved everything about the movie, but that's not actually true. There were some things that I didn't like that much because no film is perfect. So let's talk about some of the things that I nitpicked and didn't like too much. I know I said the film doesn't need too much science or information or actually have to be 100% accurate because, things we're discovering are changing every moment. But the whole premise of, hey, dinosaurs are dying off, but they kind of live near the equator because oxygen and weather, whatever, was just a little bit of a glaze over to me. Not a huge problem because it set everything up and just helped you understand. But I kind of wish we did get a little bit more science, just a little bit, not a lot. Also, there was a point in the film where the security guy introduced a new weapon. It was a neurotoxin that could supposedly neutralize or even kill the dinosaurs, which the archaeologist, of course, was opposed to. I kind of wanted to see that play out more or at least let the weapon be used on a dinosaur. And I kind of feel like they dropped the ball on that one because that would be interesting. I hope that's something they pick up on later. But yeah, that could have given the archaeologist his own villain hero arc right there. And they kind of just threw that out. And of course, so many times in these films, we have the motivations just being a corporation trying to get more money and tons of money and everyone just wanting money. While it is valid because look at the world today. I do wish that we would get something more like a tribal thing or villages or someone on these neighboring islands discovered something that had to do with these dinosaurs and made researchers want to come in for those reasons. Maybe they had to save the town from some type of mutated, contaminated disease that the dinosaurs brought along with them when they came back. So, something that just wasn't motivation by a greedy corporation guy with a briefcase and a suit. And lastly, my biggest gripe and probably the most important for me is when did all the dinosaurs turn into ninjas? I mean, There's so many scenes of dinosaurs just randomly popping up places, jump scaring, and I get it. The horror factor, a big, giant 20-ton or whatever creature popping up out of nowhere, scaring you is, oh, wow. And it works for characters like maybe Jason Voorhees or something. But in the film like this, we have these big creatures. Whatever happened to the thud? You know, the most famous scene with the water, with the ripples in it. Can we get that back? I don't really hear these dinosaurs. These are giant creatures. I want to hear the footsteps coming along. I think that's equally as terrifying to just be sitting somewhere and hearing a loud thud of a creature that's probably going to eat you whole. I feel like they kinda lost that aspect of it, and I wish they would bring that back. Too many times do we have these giant dinosaurs just popping up in smoke somewhere and, like, no one knows where they came from. It's kinda ridiculous. Overall, I do think it was a pretty good film and a good way to relaunch the Jurassic franchise. I hope they have other films planned and are coming. I wouldn't mind Ali and Johansson's characters coming back as they really didn't bother me much. I kind of enjoyed them, but if they did choose new leads, that would be cool also. Heck, I would like to see an update on the family, maybe at a later point, maybe not in the next film, but maybe in the third film. And the big beast from the film, the D-Rex, he didn't really get that much shine in this film, and I kind of wish they would have an ongoing dinosaur villain through another trilogy. Like, give this man a story. Give one of these mutated dinosaurs a real backlog and through line. Like, make something happen where they have to go back there and face the D-Rex not once, but twice before they actually do away with him. He did survive through the film, from what I understand, so that could possibly happen. I really do wish they would do something like that. It would kind of be a first for the franchise. I mean, we've got Indoraptors and the Dominus Rex and Blue and all of those things happening. Like, let's get a real dinosaur villain. He doesn't have to have dialogue, just build a story around him. I don't know. That's just how I feel. With all that being said, I want to give this movie a 7.8. I know that's such a strange number, but 7.8 is where I put it. I want to say it's probably my third or fourth Jurassic film. I don't know. Might have to give it a rewatch to totally settle on what I like about it. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Where does this fit in your list? Do you want to see more of Johansson and Ali's characters or more of the family? Do you want to see more of the D-Rex? Do you think this was garbage? I don't know. Whatever it is, let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time on the next review.